My dear sisters and brothers, in the first reading, we see how God continues to keep His promise. He has chosen us for Himself. And here we see how Moses, just an ordinary person, he was chosen and he was saved by the Pharaoh. We saw yesterday how Pharaoh wanted to eliminate all the Hebrews, and that's what was happening. They were throwing them into the firstborn into the river. And so here he is. He's brought out of the river and taken care of, first by his mother and then by the daughter of Pharaoh. And so we see how God is merciful, protective. In the second reading, we see how God does mighty works in our lives. But are we present to those mighty works? When we ask for favors, when we receive them, after that we forget Him. What do we need to do? We need to look at the ways in which we have been following, which are self-centered ways that are given to us by the evil one. And then we have to repent. When God's mighty deeds are done in our lives, we must give up those and take the ways of God in us. And that is how God will continue to give us peace, joy, happiness, and will experience fulfillment. Otherwise, we do not have that kind of fulfillment which is ours by God's plan for us. And so we see always in the calling of saints that they have done what is God's will for them. We hear of one Frederick. He came from Utrecht and he was a very wonderful person. He was assisting the bishop as a priest, and then when the bishop died, he was made the bishop of Utrecht. And what did he do? He wanted to take away all the pagan practices that were practiced by them and also the licentious life led by the emperor and his empress and others. So it was not easy, but he, through prayer, attempted to tell them and to bring about order. And he also sent other emissaries, priests, to different places to change them. But they were very rude. And so when people are following their own paths, not the ways of God in their thoughts, words and deeds, what will they do? They'll try to eliminate those persons who are showing them the right path. And that is what happened. After Mass, when he was kneeling and praying the Thanksgiving prayer, 2 assailants came and murdered him. But he, when he was dying, he says, I will be in the land of the living with the Father, Son and Spirit. And that's how he died. My dear sisters and brothers, we must never be afraid of anyone who kills our body but cannot kill our soul. That is what we need to do. We need to be brave. But how will we do it, and how is it done? Only through union with God. They are ready to sacrifice their life for the others, that they also may learn God's ways and come to experience God's love through these sacrifices which they make. So my dear sisters and brothers, let us ask the Lord to give us this grace by which all of us may truly follow the path of Jesus who dwells in us. Let us hold our hands like this in our lap, keep our eyes closed, keep our back straight, and at every breath, God is placing His presence within us through the breath. Our body, mind and spirit is integrated with God, but because we are not with Him, we do not feel this integration. Why? Because there are many thoughts, many feelings, many experiences which are all playing within us. Let us surrender them at the breath. Keep them in Jesus by repeating His name so that they are all out in Him. And when you do that, He immediately sets you free from these bondages. to sin and to evil. And then He takes away all that is bad, and all that is good He multiplies and gives us more of His good at the next breath. Just experience that. When we have this intention and attitude, which He Himself has told us, He will mold us and make us truly what we should be. Be done to me according to your word, according to your plan for me. And then we will be courageous, always loving those who try to take us away from the path of God.